All right, Mike. Mike, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
New Jersey, born in Livingston, New Jersey.
What was your family like growing up?
Um, Immigrant family, Brazilian mother, Portuguese father, and I would say a common household for the 90s. My dad worked a lot. My mom was home most of the time taking care of us, didn't work, and didn't really see my dad much. He did construction and was just also did his own thing at the bars after work, so I'd see him very rarely.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
Um, Conflicted, and a large part of me looking for a male figure to kind of guide me, and kind of got lost in that with guys on the streets and shit. Trying to find someone to lead the way for me. So I felt lost a lot growing up, and an aggressive childhood as well. A lot of aggressive shit. My dad, I didn't see him much, but when I did, he was just a very aggressive man.
Hmm.
And I picked up on that. I used it for myself, and so just a very conflicted younger man at that time.
What were you like in high school?
Trying everything, trying to try all drugs, get into trouble. I did really good in school, so I'd say good in my mom's graces, but just like a wild kid, did whatever I wanted, had a good time, tried all drugs under the sun, and parties. Grew up watching all these TV shows in the 90s of California, and I just wanted to, I don't know, be like Zach Morris in high school, running around partying, popular kid, cool kid, shit like that. So high school was fun, all the drugs and partying and alcohol was a good time experimenting with at that time.
Did you get caught up in all that?
Yeah, I did. I maintained good grades and stuff till I graduated high school, but as soon as I got out, drugs and alcohol were like my way to cope. Yeah, that was like the shittiest part after was I took that with me, so I started coping. Instead of partying, now I'm, shit's hard, I'm an adult, I gotta face life. And when things are hard, I go drink, I go smoke, I go party. And I got lost. That was like a big step in the wrong direction, was starting to cope with alcohol and drugs at such a young age.
Hmm. How old are you now?
39.
39. But you were working while you were doing all this, or?
No, hanging out at my mom's.
Hmm.
My parents were nice enough to let me stay through my younger 20s. They got divorced at that time, and my mom just kind of took me everywhere with her. So it was nice. My mom gave me that cushion, but also that cushion enabled me for a while to just kind of hang out. I didn't really have much motivation to do shit at that time. Was trying to pursue music and all these wild things that no career sense in anything at that time in my younger 20s.
And tell me where the drugs or alcohol kind of led you.
They led me to a dark place. I lost a cousin of mine that was like a brother to me. We were best friends. I lost him in '06, and everything went downhill at that time. I just started binge drinking every single day.
How did you lose your cousin?
In a drunk driving accident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like maybe a mile or two from his house in Clark, New Jersey. He didn't make it home. He was a passenger.
So it wasn't his fault?
No, it wasn't his fault. The driver lived, and there was someone in the back seat. They also lived, and the driver overcompensated, trying to swerve out of the way for another car, and went smack into a tree. And my cousin was ejected, died instantly.
Sorry.
It's all right. But that's when things got got really fucked up, I never, that's when I started drinking like I never had before. Every day, morning, night, binge drinking, withdrawals were kicking in, all that kind of good stuff set in after his passing.
And that went on for a while?
Yeah, it went on for like probably 3 or 4 years. And then I met the mother of my kids. We were both heavy drinkers. We met, she got pregnant, and my firstborn son was kind of like my saving grace. I had something to fight for again. Life started to change for me. It was the first time I went to chase a career. Got in the industry that I'm in now. I started drilling, doing construction, $12 an hour with the baby on the way. And I was really proud of myself at that time. It was like having my son changed my life.
You did?
Yeah. I was sober for a year too. I stopped drinking, stopped everything so I could get myself together and prepare for his arrival.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
And just by doing that and getting a job builds your self-worth, and it kind of builds on itself, doesn't it?
It does. I started to feel like a man in a sense at that time. You know, I had a good job, one that I felt like I worked hard in, and I took pride in. I was proud of doing the kind of work that I did.
I assume your wife kind of followed suit?
Mm-hmm. Things started to turn around for me. Yeah. After that year of sobriety, I got back into drinking, but not in the sense like I was before. I started to kind of build my dream into my way into the American dream, what I thought was the American dream, and save up for a house, barbecues and shit like that, beers, you know. I just had it all in my head set that I would get there, and I did. About 2015, 2013, I had another son. My boys were like my everything. They were my compass. They kept me like aligned and doing good. But I finally found, I guess, what I thought was a place of moderation with alcohol. And in 2015, I had an opportunity to get into the union. And it was like the most amazing thing in my life at that time. I had worked non-union construction, and as proud of my job as I was, the money wasn't that great. And when I had this opportunity to get into the local, my life changed again. I took the opportunity, and within like 6 months bought my first house. And was so proud of where I was to where I got from 2010 to 2015. I was really proud of myself, and then I really kind of laid back and thought, that's it, I did it, you know, like I got the house, I have a family, everything is good job, let's have a drink. And in that complacency, it started to turn more and more every day. It started to go bad.
And where did that take you?
So me and the mother of my kids at that time, like I said, we both liked to drink, and the relationship was always kind of all over the place. But I wouldn't give it up for anything because of my kids. I was committed to this no matter what, and loyal as well, to make this work. And my parents had split up when I was older, and they went through so much. I didn't want my kids to go through the same of having their parents split up. And as things got worse with alcohol, they got worse with us. We were fighting more and more and more, to the point where we were just like strangers, roommates, just wouldn't talk, just lived under the same roof. And in 2019, I had found out that she cheated on me. And that's when everything went downhill. It was like she ripped my purpose from underneath my feet. My family was no longer whole. I couldn't stay in this relationship any longer.
But you were already drinking a little bit before that happened.
I was drinking every day before that happened. When I found out about the cheating, it was in August of 2019, and we were having so many issues. I would say a lot of the heavy drinking started like mid 2018, all the way into that period. But I was functional. I functioned. I drank and I functioned. Still went to work, did all these things. But when I found out she cheated, I was no longer a functioning alcoholic. I broke down and had to leave work. Everything spiraled so fast, I guess, from the amount that I had drank most of my life already, the amount I drank leading up to those events, and the amount I was drinking at that time. Everything spiraled so fast, symptom-wise, of what was about to happen to me.
You kind of jumped back to the same pace you were at when you were younger.
Yeah, my body couldn't do it anymore, and I couldn't wean myself off. I had pulled myself out of so many withdrawals, and I had done them in the past with benzos. I had done them with nothing. I thought I was a professional at handling alcohol withdrawal. You know, like I knew the system of how many days it would take me, all these great things. This time, nothing was working. I couldn't face life sober. The reality was I felt like I was gonna lose everything because she was like, the house is mine. You're getting the fuck out. Everything here is mine. The kids are mine. And this is about to be a wrap for you. And I was scared to death. I was scared for my life at that time. You know, she was gonna take everything I had worked for.
Was she working as well?
No. So, when I found out she cheated, she was in upstate New York, and I changed the locks of the house when she was coming home. And when she got there, she called the cops. And the cops came to the house, and I'm like, I don't want her in the house. I'm the owner of the house. I own this house. And they're like, unfortunately, you have to leave. And I couldn't believe it. I had to leave that house for the verbal disagreement that we had that day. And I was out of the house for about a month because I was losing my shit. And they're like, you can't stay here. So I was staying in my car, staying at my cousin's houses, drinking all day, picking up groceries to bring to the house. I couldn't see the kids, like she would hide them from me and shit, and it was just so heavy on me. Like, I felt like she lived up to her words that she was about to take every single thing from me.
And on top of it, you're not working any longer.
No. And
did you get fired or you quit?
No, I told them I needed to leave. Like my super at the time saw the condition that I was in, and I kept him in the loop for months about what was going on. So he was understanding. And, you know, I told him I needed time. I needed time off. So, but I didn't care about the income. I didn't care about, I didn't see any light on the other side of the tunnel. I didn't see an end to this. I just kept drinking. I couldn't face this shit. It was just a very, very surreal, dreamy reality where I felt just life was good and everything went to fucking shit.
What happened after that?
After that 30 days, I returned back to the house, and now I was back in the house. And I tried to be civil and negotiate some terms about her exiting at some point, and we couldn't come to any agreement on that. So I just kept drinking and trying to focus on this withdrawal and trying to wean myself off. I'd say maybe end of November, early December, I woke up one morning and when I went in the bathroom, my eyes were all yellow. It was one night to the next. They were white the day before. And when I woke up this day, they were highlighter yellow, glowing. Like, I thought something was wrong with the fucking lights. I started freaking out. And when I opened up my eyeballs looking in the mirror, I was like, my fucking liver. I'm like, fuck. I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I jumped on Amazon and started ordering liver support pills and shit, and started racing to order milk thistle, thinking I can save this, I can stop this somehow. And after hyperventilating for a while in disbelief, crying, and then drinking some more and accepting what was going on, I just continued my process. I think at that time when my eyes were yellow, my thinking already started to become a little delusional from the pneumonia buildup, from the toxin buildup already from my liver starting to fail. So I didn't ask for help. And the mother of my kids saw my eyes yellow, and she knew how bad I was drinking. And I wasn't in the right mind to tell anybody in my family. I was kind of hiding. And I felt like she was just kind of watching the clock, waiting, you know, tick, tick, till one of these days I didn't wake up. And I woke up very confused in my guest room by my older son, Jaden, screaming, "Grandma wants to talk to you." I remember it being like very hard to breathe, to take in any breaths, but he put my mom on the phone by my head and I couldn't talk. And my son was like, "He's doing really bad, he can't breathe and he can't talk." And my mom phoned for an ambulance, and the ambulance came to get me.
Is that your lowest point?
Yeah. It might have got lower when the ambulance got there and they went to try to take me. I kept refusing to go. Like I didn't want to give in. I didn't want to surrender.
That was how many years ago?
It was January 7th, 2020, 4 years. And one of the paramedics like got in my face after I kept saying I wasn't gonna go. I was like, you can't fucking make me go anywhere, so I'm gonna stay. And he was like, if you stay, I promise you're gonna die. He's like, your kids are right outside the room. So I think I tried to negotiate something with getting a drink on the way out and not go, but I started vomiting coffee grounds and shit all over the place when they started moving me and had trouble breathing. And don't remember the hospital trip there. That was my lowest. My kids watching me get, dragged out of the house. I was 270 pounds.
You were 270 pounds. Wow.
All the fluid build up. My stomach was like this big. Just build up from the liver failure. I hadn't went to the bathroom in weeks. Like I just couldn't go. Nothing would come out of me. And when I got to the hospital, they put me in an induced coma, stopped me from going into cardiac arrest. And my kidneys gave out, and I started having respiratory failure and different issues there, all from withdrawal from alcohol. They called my mom to get permission to put me on dialysis, and they stabilized me in a coma somewhat. And I got transferred from one hospital in Belleville, New Jersey to University Hospital in Newark because they had a great hepatologist there. And almost 3 weeks later, I woke up. Grace of God, I woke up.
Anything changed?
Everything.
Everything changed.
Everything changed. I was born again. Not even in a religious sense, in a physical, just a physical sense. Felt like I had died. Felt like I was trapped in some hell purgatory at the hospital. It was very weird out-of-body experiences where I kept trying to fucking look for a place with a drink in the hospital. And every time I did, I'd find something to drink. It wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't feel like I drank anything. I would just still be thirsty. And it was like very loopy, surreal place I was in. But when I woke up, I knew where I was. And I was fucking happy to be alive.
Did you go to a program or anything like that? You just did it on your own.
I woke up, Kobe Bryant had just passed when I woke up. That was like a big moment for me. I felt like such a piece of shit in that bed, hospital bed, having done what I did to myself and seeing this amazing guy, this dad and his daughter that had passed away. And COVID had just landed, so they sent me home right away. I think 2 or 3 days after waking up, they said you have to go home and kind of do your own medical work there, have a nurse go by a couple times a week and take care of you. And I had to learn how to walk again, physical therapy from being asleep for those weeks. I had a PICC line that ran to my heart and did IV infusions and stuff. And my kids were home from school, so it was like a big party at home. It was kind of cool. Even though as shitty as it was, we made the best we could of it. We had fun. They would like take my pee bottles and help me with things, and we make jokes of it, and it was an amazing time, that healing process, spending it with my kids sober at home.
And you continued with that?
I continued with that. The doctors had told me when I woke up, they were like, you can't go on a transplant list for 6 months. You have to be clean from drinking just to get on the list. And we don't know if you'll make it that long. I'd asked them, like, when will my eyes clear up? My skin was yellow. Everything was yellow on me. I looked like Big Bird. I looked crazy. And they were like, it could be maybe like 2 years. It all depends. We don't even know if you're gonna live. So I left with, just the hope of having some good days at home. And within like 4 months, my eyes turned white. 4 months, my liver, I went for a test. I got walking again. I went for a blood test with my hepatologist, and she said, your blood work looks like any normal person's blood work. Your liver is fully functional again. And it was kind of wild because I had been home for all that time. I guess at some point looking for companionship and shit like that, I ended up going back out drinking. after that. I took a flight to Florida with my buddy. That was like a bucket list trip. Even though my liver was working good again, I wasn't fully right in the head from everything that had just happened. I was in a pretty unstable place. Happy to be here, but not all well. Kind of partied in Florida for about a month and came back home and tried moderation drinking for like 2 years. That didn't work out that great. It was a very like up and down lifestyle. I always wanted to keep the option open, like I'm not different than anybody else. I want to reserve the choice if I want to have a drink or not. And I had this whole FOMO thing going on that if I took that option away, that I wouldn't be able to kind of feel fully present. I guess that idea didn't allow me to feel fully present at any event or anything, just being like, I can't have a drink. I started to have some more medical issues in 2022. I had diverticulitis and they needed to remove a big chunk of my colon. And when they did that, it was August of 2022, I finally committed to sobriety in its fullness. I had started sharing my stories about what happened to me, and I saw how many people my age and younger were suffering from acute liver failure so young, kids dying from liver failure and stuff. And a lot of the online sober community helped change my perspective. And I got sober August 23rd, 2022 was my sober date.
And how are you doing now?
Good, really good. Better than I ever have been. I don't work a program. I've been doing therapy for about 3 years.
Therapy helps, right?
A lot. It can get boring sometimes when things are good, but the maintenance always helps on bringing things to the forefront. You know, it's been a tremendous help in my life.
You think there's any chance of you going back to drinking?
No, I don't think so. When I look at what I went through with alcohol and where my headspace was at that time, I just don't think that person's here anymore. I've like finally figured out how to deal and cope with shit. And it's been working so far, but it's still one day at a time, right? Whether working a program or not, I still try to get through my days one day at a time. Everything is I keep close.
Mike, what would you say is your biggest regret?
I don't have any.
You've learned a lot of good lessons.
I've gotten a lot of free gifts from life that have kind of given me new eyes, and I wouldn't change it. I don't regret any of it.
What would you say the most important lesson you've learned has been?
My gratitude for being here. When I almost got pulled out of here and felt like I was never gonna see my kids again. And then when I got to, I'm just thankful to be alive, be here. Even no matter how fucked up it gets fucked up. It gets just as fucked up as it used to. Except I'd rather be here to deal with the fucked up shit than be gone.
Hmm. And where are your kids now?
Home with my wife. I got married. I have another baby on the way. Baby will be here late December. and trying to have fun. Like you know, like find my place in all of this being fun. It has to be fun, you know? Even if you gotta pretend sometimes to make it sweet. It's what's been working for me, so. And seeing the people that, like, my story might help, you know? Yeah. To know none of this was in vain, that it can help some people feels good. It feels really good.
You're happier now than you were
I'm the happiest.
drinking, right?
Yeah, way happier. Way, way happier.
All right. Mike, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good luck staying back on track. Let's keep it that
Thank you,
way.
Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, man.